Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. What's up, peeps? Alright, so today we're going to be making a water bottle rocket. Apparently I'm obliged to say this, so let's get the formalities over with. Hello, nama saya Haziq bin Muhammad Rizwan dari kelas 3 aktif Diamond. Nama guru mata pelajaran saya ialah Puan Sadia. Right, now that that's over with, let's get to the actual build. First things first, what do we need to build this rocket? Starting off with the body of the rocket, we're going to need some cardboard. And then for the nose cone, we're going to need some paper. And then of course, since it's a water bottle rocket, we're going to need some bottles. Get a few extra. And then to put everything together, we just need some tape. So next up, for a launching mechanism, we're going to need a rubber stopper. You can find this at any hardware store, it's pretty common. Or you can use a cork if you want. Then a bicycle pin and a bike pump. I'm sure most of you have that. A few other tools you might need are a knife, a hammer, and a nail. Make sure it's just about the size of your bike pin. So, today we're going to be using recycled paper because, well, save the environment. Now this is the rocket build, so this is the rocket section. As you can see, my beautiful drawing of a water bottle. Totally didn't do that like 5 times. And then we have the fins out of the cardboard and then a nose cone. So now I'm labeling everything, and one of the reasons I use cardboard for the fins is because it's a lightweight material. And another thing is that in the nose cone there's actually a paper ball that's to make it structurally strong and so it doesn't collapse. Now this is the launcher, so this is the thing that's going to be launching the bottle, and it's basically just a rubber stopper with the pin inside of it. It's super easy to do. And the pump. Yeah, so there's the bike pump, there's the rubber stopper, and the pin. So now that you've seen some of the drawings and the basic idea of how we're going to build it, let's get to building the rocket. Now in this section, you see I'm trying to put the nail in to the rubber stopper. This is probably the hardest part of the build. So why we're putting the nail in is so you can put the pin in through the hole later, because if not you'd have to just shove the pin in and that might break the pin like that. So yeah, after a bit of messing around I finally got it. Why I'm cutting it here is because the pin is a bit too short, so we cut off the excess rubber so the hole of the pin shows. That allows the air to actually go through. So there you can see it, and it actually fits pretty snug on the bottle. Now for the fins, we're going to need just a knife and cardboard. Just cut off your big piece of cardboard and get a smaller piece, and then take that smaller piece and cut it in half. We want to make 2 rectangles, and then you're going to slice those rectangles diagonally, so that will create 2 fins, as you can see. Once you have both of the fins, you're just going to attach them to the bottle with some tape, so it'll look a bit something like this. The fins are basically there to stabilize the water bottle rocket. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So to create the nose cone, we're going to need to just draw a circle. Just make sure it's bigger, because the bigger the better, and if it's too big we can just cut it. If it's too small you can't. Now just grab your scissors and cut around the circle, and then you're going to actually mark the radius so you can cut it later and make it a cone shape, just like this. So now we have our little nasi lemak packet, yeah. But before we can put it onto the bottle, we need to get some tape and tape the little paper ball onto the bottle first. Then you can put it on and attach it on with more tape. Now of course you might ask, Haziq, what's the point of a nose cone? I'll explain that now. Imagine this over here is a water bottle rocket without a nose cone. and the pink arrow represents the force pushing it upwards. So now, of course, everything around us isn't empty, there's air. So these 4 arrows will represent air. Now, as the water ball rocket is going up, it's going to bump into the air, and the air is going to push it down. This is called drag. Of course, this is an analogy and it's very simplified, but you can see 2 arrows actually hit the top of the bottle, meaning more drag. And now compare that to the water bottle rocket with a nose cone, and you can see that because the shape of the nose cone, when the air actually contacts it, it goes off to the side, reducing the drag and the force pushing it downwards, allowing your water bottle rocket to fly up higher and faster. So, we got a rocket now. I mean, it doesn't look that nice, but it's a rocket and it should work. So only one thing to do now. Let's fly it. Forgot the thing. Now let's do the transition. So we have teleported to Taman near Anna's house, and we are going to be launching this rocket here. First things first, you got to fill up the bottle with water, being careful not to hit the cardboard. Fill it about 2/3 full, then you take your pump, push it in tightly. The tighter the better, so you can take more pressure. And then you flip it over, put the nose cone nicely, and then we are ready to launch this thing. So we're gonna take this slow, 1 pump at a time. So this usually takes 2 pumps. You can see the water bubbling up. Hold up. You probably noticed that the nose cone wasn't exactly how I built it, and it actually has a hinge and it flapped open. Why? Well, one of the ideas I had in my head was to make a parachute system. As you can see, when the air pushes it down, it actually keeps the nose cone there. But when it comes back down, the air rushes through the little space right here and then causes it to flip out. And I thought if you could attach a little parachute here, you could have a reusable rocket. But as you can see from the lack of height gain here, a parachute probably wouldn't deploy. This is during editing, and I realized something. I talk so much about the build and the things I use, I kind of forgot to explain how a water bottle rocket works. So we're going to do that by watching the first launch. So the basic concept of a water bottle rocket is, as you can see, the water is bubbling up there because air is going into the bottle, and this creates pressure inside of the bottle, and pressure always escapes at the weakest point. In this case, it's the rubber stopper, which is why when it reaches that point, it all goes out at once. So we learned from everything, and 2 mistakes clearly showed when I was building this. One of them was my choice for the fins, which was cardboard. Considering this water bottle rocket, it should be quite obvious that cardboard is not waterproof. So yeah, that was a failure on my part. Personally, I think I should have got one of those plastic boards that look a bit like this. Yeah, that would have been much better. So a perfect example of why I should have used plastic board instead of cardboard is this. This is the 3rd launch, and the cardboard got a bit wet, causing it to be structurally unstable, and that resulted in the rocket losing stability. Like that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all don't repeat my mistakes and maybe try out some of the things I suggested, like the parachute system. And sorry that my voice sounds so dead. I'm tired. Yeah. Right. Like, share, subscribe, all that nonsense. Actually, don't share this. This is trash.